I've been up here 7 years, and in all fairness, I heard it from the prior administration, and the mayor, and I'm a strong supporter of the mayor, and I've heard it from you folks. We need to figure it out. There's got to be some consolidation. We need to figure out something that can work on the school and the city side. You had Matt Torta, he made magic happen, okay? Now you have Jimmy Duane, another great guy. We got Jimmy Paolini. You know, I'm not going to get into it too much, but when I see a guy that's a licensed plumber cutting the lawn, there's a problem with that situation, okay? We need to figure out how if you got a plumber that's not working at the schools and we got a leaky toilet over here, he can come over here and fix it. There are ways. We might not save a lot of money, but I truly believe it'll be a lot more efficient for both your side and their side. And for whatever reason, the perception, which is greater than reality, and everybody in this room knows that too, that line, it's like almost like the schools don't want to see some of these things consolidated. So if we're all willing to work together and do things together and do things, it's something we need to take a serious hard look at as soon as we get this stuff finalized the next day. Not, I don't want to be sitting back here next year, because we're all going to be back here next year. At least we got another year left on our terms. And we might as well get proactive and think about what we can do. You know what I mean? So all of a sudden, we need an electrician over here. Your guy's not busy. He comes over to City Hall and fixes a building. And, you know, poor Jimmy Paolini, he goes around with duct tape and keeps it all stuck together. I don't know how he does it, okay? I go by this 188 Concord Street, I want to puke every time I walk by it, okay? Because I owned that building at one time, or so we'll say my mother owned it with Dennis Cardiff, okay? And the city could have bought it way back when. They didn't want to buy it, or not the schools, the city, because, you know, guess why? The only reason they didn't buy it was because who owned it, okay? We all might as well lay it out why it was. And then they paid $1 million more later, so that's okay too. The guy that bought it from us, he made another $1 million. But it's something, you got to think a little bit out of the box, and consolidating some services would be a good thing, okay? And he really is thinking out today. And, you know, I can't sit up here and criticize him. Okay, maybe we're not perfectly happy with some of his suggestions tonight, but at least he made some. Okay, we haven't heard him. Tonight he's talking about it. And, you know, Mr. Blummer said in the audience, we need to know what that $3.5 million number looks like. We need to, or whatever that number is. And we don't know if we were at 3.5 or 10. You guys don't know that. The last thing I want to see you do is send out pink slips to 45% of the people that work for you, or that are in whatever that, what is it, in the union, or however it is, or people part of your team. And why would they want to stay? Okay, believe me, the morale in this building's awful too. Don't kid yourself. So we need to let people at least know we appreciate what they do and that we appreciate them. And that's half of the battle. So if we could really take a good look at that down the road, as soon as this budget gets figured out, and it's not going to be perfect, but consolidating some services. Like I said to him the other day, just tell us something so we know that you're doing it. And he is. He's trying. And it's not easy, because the phones are ringing off the hook and people are really upset and frustrated. And, you know, and to Kyle's point, a 1% isn't a lot of money. Okay, it's $80. But when you multiply it by everybody, and then you look at the 10 million over here, we're going to run out of 10 millions, okay? The 10 million isn't going to, it doesn't get replenished every single year, and we need economic development in this city. And not everybody wants to talk about that either, because, you know, God forbid you talk about it on one side of Route 9. You can't talk about it. But on one side, build anything you want, tax them whatever you want, and it's okay. But as soon as you cross Route 9, all bets are off. So we all need to take a hard look at how we need revenue. You get revenues by economic development. Marlboro's cleaning our clock, and I compared us to Marlboro before. Natick cleans our clock too, and they're only a town. But we need to figure out how we can generate more revenue, as Council Stefanini said earlier. Because without revenues, you know, you guys came in looking for $15 million on day one. We got $9 million in new revenue. How does it work? It doesn't work, okay? So we all need to find ways to attract people to come to Framingham and want to be here. We've got some of the best world headquarters in the world out here in Framingham. We need more. And that's hopefully what our EDC can do now with Mr. Sarkisian. So that's my spiel.